Hey guys, Paleo Gamer here, giving you a quick little update guide on our Storm Zerker Trickster build. Not a lot has changed, but I still wanted to give an update for build 31, an actual video update. I have updated the forum post for the most part, and I will be continuing to update it as I find more stuff. First thing we'll do is we'll take a look at the skill tree. The biggest thing you'll notice is that we dropped out Storm Totem. Storm Totem and Wendigo Totem, when you're in a melee character and you're constantly moving from pack to pack, it's just kind of tedious to keep dropping and dropping. Sure, it's kind of like drop it and forget it, but it's kind of like in the time it takes to drop Storm Totem, you could probably type, or throw down 2-3 savagery hits in the time it takes to lay down the totem and then actually continue on. So I just decided to take it out, free up some extra points. And then, of course, Wendigo Totem. I think it's kind of a staple in this build. Since we're kind of like a melee caster, we're a little on the squishy side, but for the most part, we do all right. With the crazy healing from Wendigo and Pneumatic Burst, and potions, of course, it all kind of works out pretty well. As well as our devotions, which we'll go over shortly. So as you see here, I've already went over all the other skills in the previous guide, so I'm just going to kind of explain real quick everything. Savagery is our main attack. We constantly spam this. This is on cooldown. You use it as much as you can. It's your default weapon attack. So if you're not doing anything besides spamming Savagery, you'll probably do all right, but you'll still want to use your Burnos Fury item down here as well. But of course, we get Stormcaller's Pact, just damage, crazy good damage. Healing for Wendigo Totem. This is just another addition to Savagery. It's just damage increase. Magdragon's Pact, just 1 point there for the aura, but 10 points there for the extra health. Crazy good health. It's really all it's used for. And then we move on to the Nightblade Tree. Since this build focuses on chance on hit attacks, we get this up to 20% chance to use, and then leave that alone. It does decent damage. It's not too bad. Same thing here with Amorous Quick Cut. It's just mainly used to be for the 20% chance on use. We're just focusing on swinging really fast and having a lot of chance on hit abilities. And then, of course, Execute. Super strong, great ability. Hits for really hard. Ring of Steel and Ring of Frost. This isn't for damage. It's actually just for CC. This is a lifesaver a lot of times. Like, I pretty much spam this on cooldown. It gives us extra time for our Wendigo Totem to heal if we take big hits, all of our devotions to kick in, Pneumatic Burst to come off cooldown. This freezes trash very dependently. Very, very good. Shadow Strike's just used for mobility, just to move around from pack to pack or get out of bad situations, or it's got a lot of use. One utility, 1 point utility point, really, really good. Pneumatic Burst is super strong, 12 points there. 1 point to reduce the cooldown and increase health regeneration, so you can spam Pneumatic Burst much more. I decided to go full into Shadow Dance because 20% chance to avoid melee and physical projectile attacks, pretty damn strong. And I do think it's worth it because, again, we are a little squishy because we are a melee caster. And I'll kind of go in more in detail when we're smacking on the training dummy and explain why we are a melee caster. And then these 5 points, these are points you can use elsewhere. These are good. I don't need the elemental resistance, so really all this is giving is a little bit of frostburn and then elemental damage. That's it. This can definitely be used elsewhere. These 5 points could be thrown into Oak Skin for some extra armor and health regeneration. A little bit of pierce resistance if you need it. That would be fine. You could throw it into Tenacity of the Boar. It's another good spot. You could try throwing it in a blood pack and maybe maxing out Wendigo Totem. This is without any of my gear, so that's why it looks a little funky. But we'll show you what my gear, or what it looks like with my gear. So currently we've got, like I said, max Wendigo Totem, really, really strong. We've got plus 1 to all of our shaman skills, and then some random odds and end pluses. Only keep this at 10. So if you have any other pluses to it, keep it at 10, and then drop anything extra points out of it as you get more pluses to shaman skills or whatever. Other than that, everything else scales really well, so that's fine. And then Nightblade, there's no pluses, so it looks exactly the same. Next, we'll look over gear. Gear did change a bit since the last time in a couple spots. Mostly they stay the same, but our weapons. Stormheart, free weapon. Dahlia's Journal quest. I think I did do a video on it, but if not, I can. You can just Google search Dahlia, Dahlia's Journal Quest for Stormheart, and there should already be a forum post that explains everything you need to do. Essentially, you just go out from Homestead. There's like you follow the road. There's a house. You grab her journal. You take it back to her. You give it back to her, and then you go to a Tomb of Korvak, which is in Astrakhan Valley. Take a right from the Astrakhan Valley portal, and there's like that tomb over there, and you'll smash open a jar, and a free one of these will pop out. I believe you have to defeat Ultimate in order for it to drop. It's an ancient urn is what you're looking for. Essentially, if you're at the entrance, you're going to want to go all the way, kind of like a diagonal as you go in through there, and it's going to be like over here, if that makes sense. Again, check the forum posts, you know, whatever. You'll be able to find it pretty easily. There's a nice detailed guide on how to get it. But you're looking for Stormheart, and of course I'm using 2 of them. The reason why we switched to this is because, just look at it, it's beautiful. It's exactly what we want. Everything on this is great. The Chain Lightning, fantastic. Lots of AoE, lots of damage on it. Attack speed, offensive ability. It's perfect. This is like the perfect sword. So these are best in slot. Did get an Altos Caress. I would like to get a 4-piece Altos for this build. Everything but the 2-handed weapon. I think that really would be end game build. Because it does give +2 to all shaman skills, and that really does open up a lot of skill points to do other things with. So that's one thing I will try to get. We would lose the Desk Mask's Lightning Bolt, which is a lot of damage, but I do think that the overall gains from the 4-piece is just extremely beneficial. A lot of lightning damage, offensive ability, lightning resistance. If you need that, you shouldn't need it. But again, also the +2 to all shaman skills is just really, really valuable. Resistance pants with lots of health. This was crafted from a buddy. He gave it to me. This really helped my resistances. These are crazy, but this is just an example that green pants can be really, really good, or green items in general can be really, really good. Eye of the Storm, best in slot relic. Again, I'm not going to go over the gear too much, just going to kind of tell you what they are. Tinker's Ingenuity, this is just for high survivability, resistances, max resistances. As you can see, all of my resistances are just crazy high, so I'm trying to go really tanky on this one because, again, we're fairly squishy. It's not too bad, but certain things hit hard, like beasts. They hit really hard. Mark of Fierce Resolve. This is mainly just for pierce resistance, because without it, I'm at 23, and I didn't feel comfortable with being at 23. So this is just to round off the pierce resistance. If I were to find a better metal, I actually truly don't have a very good metal for this build, so this kind of just fills in that spot and makes sure our resistances are pretty damn high. Boots, Storm Titan Treads are just crazy good. They give everything we want. You can clearly see. The Empowered Thunder Touch Bracers also, again, give a lot of what we want. These give the Lightning Bolt chance on attack, which is another thing we're trying to focus on. So we have 2 Chain Lightning procs. We have Thunderbolt proc from here, another Thunderbolt proc from here. Then our shoulders here. There might be better shoulders out here than this. I think yeah. So there's going to be Ulto's shoulders will probably be better. So once we can get those, I haven't found any Ulto's pieces. I traded a buddy for this. Everything else I haven't found. And I've played 4 other 85s and have not found a single Ultos since this character, because this was my very first 85. So, damn shame. But again, good survivability, good stats, good damage. This ring's actually really, really strong because of the resistances. And attack speed is really strong right now. It's multiplicative instead of additive, so that helps out a lot. It's not the best ring in the world, but this was what I found at the time, and this works out well for us. So you just gotta find out what works for you. This Avatar of Mercy has insane resistances, and also an insane proc. Whenever you drop below 30%, you gain 50% health restored, you absorb 30% damage, and then of course the other resistances that are reduced stun duration, freeze duration, and petrify. Really, really strong amulet for survivability. So we are sacrificing a lot of DPS for survivability, but again, I think we need it, so this is what I found works out for me. And then this right here, this is a little secret gem that I've been holding on to. They did nerf it, so clearly it wasn't secret enough. If you notice the second ability, first of all, it gives us a lot of elemental damage, so that's nice. Elemental damage is considered lightning damage, so we do gain that damage. And then, of course, elemental resistances. Everything else on it's not really that great, besides maybe a little bit of defensive ability. But the chance of 45% reduced target's resistance for 5 seconds. So every time this ring procs, 15% is a fairly high chance to proc when you're swinging very, very fast with 2 weapons. So this actually is almost up like the entire time. It doesn't note of any cooldown, so I don't know if there is a cooldown. But from my testing, anytime I'm laying into a boss, I know when this procs. It's huge. 45%. It used to be 60%. That's why I said it used to be a little gem. This was all you needed to just destroy bosses. And I do really think this is the only thing you need. You just need an empowered internal band. There is a normal and an empowered version. That's what I would go with. And then as far as components and augments go, it's just what you need. I needed extra health on this character. His health was a little bit low, so I used mutated scales. Olreon's chains of Olreon's is just for offensive ability. I'm using the Blessed Steel for the Sacred Strike effect. This is another reduced resistance effect. Since it is flat reduction and the ring is percentage reduction, they actually do stack, so it's very, very good. So again, that's enough resistance reduction to lay into anything, even electrified. I still have no problem with electrified, so that handles everything. So Blessed Steel and then empowered Eternal Band. Those 2 things will get you through everything. And these things are fairly common, so it's not too bad. And then of course Blessed Steel is pretty easy to get. And then for offhand, I'm just using Amber. It's just a lot of lightning damage, and then more conversion to lightning. I think total we have, I think it's like 60 to 70% converted physical damage into lightning damage. So almost all of our damage is lightning damage. We've got 975% lightning damage modifier, and our physical damage, physical damage is like non-existent. 164. It's like nothing. And we want to go full lightning for this build. Pretty good attack speed, 133. It's not like the fastest, but it's still good. Health regen still pretty good, 230. And then Savagery DPS will go up, with the 8 charges. As far as stats go, 60,000 damage is our highest damage dealt so far. I haven't seen anything as high as that even since after the patch. Nothing's really changed. I see roughly 50,000 crits quite often, but this build really doesn't focus around hitting like super high damage numbers. It's actually mainly swinging really fast, triggering all those chance on lightning bolt, chance on chain lightning, execution, pretty much all of these skills here. Belgothian's shears, and then Emerus's quick cut. So our build is just focusing on just swinging super fast, proccing Tempest in our devotion, proccing Spear of Heavens in our devotion. So all of these abilities that we're proccing are just really, really strong. So that covers the build and the itemization, the gear, components, and leveling. So what I did do is I did update the leveling guide just a tad. I felt like it needed a little bit of an update because before it had Storm Totem, and I don't know, I don't like Storm Totem. I don't like totems at all. So what I did was I took the points out of Storm Totem and just put them in Savagery. And then of course this stayed the same. So essentially it would go, you would level up Devouring Swarm, level up Summon Briar Thorn. You'd get a couple points into here for some extra health for Heart of the Wild. Then you would just go max mastery, max out Stormcaller's Pack, max out Savagery, and then the rest of the leveling guides are in the forum post. And our guy was running around behind our cursor there. So the next thing I wanted to do was go over devotions. There's a lot of questions about devotions. So the cool thing is I can give you guys a quick run through on how to do devotions. So right here I'm using it's a program called Grim Dawn Editor. I highly recommend going to the forums and going to the tools section of the Grim Dawn main forums. And it has a bunch of cool tools, and Grim Dawn Editor is one of them. This thing will remain up to date because it uses the actual skill trees from in-game. Same thing with devotions. The only thing with devotions, though, it is a little laggy. Like, I'll click on devotions, and then everything else looks pretty good. The only problem that I have is like getting up to certain nodes. Like, I can't get up to Spirit of Heavens. Like, I can't click and drag up there. If you zoom in once, it kind of particles a bit, but then after that, it's typically okay. You can kind of move around pretty freely. But again, it doesn't allow us to get to the max of Spear of Heavens, so while I do this build, it's at the very end, it's going to look a little weird, so I'm just going to like hop over to our normal tree and then kind of show you what it looks like. But for all general purposes, this works out really, really well. And I hope they fix this eventually. I don't know why. I actually don't know why it's like that, but I don't know. So what we'll do is I'll give you like I said, the play-by-play how we do our devotions, because at the end it does require respecting some points to get to the finishing points of the Spear of Heavens. So the first points I recommend, the first devotion I recommend is going for the Crossroads for purple, and then getting the Empty Throne. And you want to max that out. You're getting 5 purple. Next thing, what you want to do is go for the blue Crossroads. You want to go max Eel. And then this gets us Tempest really, really early. Tempest real early gives you Reckless Tempest, so 100% chance on a crit. Rains down lightning bolts like crazy. This is great for leveling. You'll love it, trust me. So you max that out. Get all the points in there. After that, what we're going to want to do is we're going to come back down here to the green cross. Drop a point to the Crossroads for the green Crossroads. And then now we want to get our Hawk. What this allows us to do is this allows us to get Chariot. Chariot's really, really strong for leveling, mainly because the Wayward Soul. So chance when you get a crit, you heal for some health, percentage health and base health, which is good. And then, of course, you gain some defensive ability for a duration. And as you level up, the percentage of health goes up and the health restored goes up, along as with defensive ability. So it's really, really good skill. Plus, along the tree, you get cunning and offensive ability, more cunning, vitality resistance. Offensive ability, flat offensive and percentile offensive. Then of course, the actual Wayward Soul ability. Next, after Chariot, we're gonna go Viper. Viper is really strong. It has the 4% offense ability, and it also has, it doesn't show it here, but it also has reduced target elemental resistances. That's another thing. This tree doesn't have like every stat on each node, but I can show you in game as well. This is just to kind of show you how to allocate your points as you level up. So after Viper, we're gonna want to go down to our Behemoth. You're only going to start at the top, grab the 1 point for 400 health, flat health, which is really, really helpful, and then Giant's Blood. The nice thing about Behemoth is it only requires 3 points. The last 3 points here aren't really that great. Like, this thing is just health regen and some constitution, not really that big a deal. 8% health would be nice, but we just don't have the points. Our points are very, very restricted on where we go. And then, of course, here, health regeneration, not really that big of a deal. So we're not really missing much. We're getting the big Giant's Blood, which is great for our health regen. So it gives you a flat percentage and health regen per second plus flat health. So it's all very, very good. So after that, we're going to go up to Jackal. And that just is going to get our red that we need for Spirit Tempest. And then after Jackal, it's going to pretty much be straight blue nodes from there. Since Spirit of the Heavens requires 20 blue, it's a bit rough. So we do have to take Wraith, which isn't too bad. You get Aether Resistance, some flat damage, and some offensive abilities, and some energy absorption from spells. So it's an okay node. I'm not too thrilled about taking the Hound, but the Hound is next. The Hound gives physique and some retaliation damage, but it's a nice 3 points for 4 devotion points, so that's good. And then our last one is the Lizard. And then, of course, you see we have 3 points left. Tempest takes a total of 6 points. So you're going to put your 3 points here, and then your last 3 points. Yeah, I can't click it. So your last 3 points will be Spirit of the Heavens for these 3 here. And in order to get those, you're going to want to respec out of these points here. So you respec out of here, here, and here. That leaves you 6 available, and that will be your 6 to get last Spirit of the Heavens. And then after you do that, your devotion tree will look like this. So we see we have Spirit of the Heavens, we have nothing in the Crossroads. A lot of people don't know you can actually remove points from the Crossroads. This is just to get the 1 devotion to unlock the rest of the tree. But as you can see, once you put an affinity point into it, it gives you red back. So you could put 1 in the Crossroads, to get Viper, unlock Viper, and it gives you 2 red, so you no longer need the one in the crossroads. You could theoretically drop it out if you never want to have another red constellation again. So you can do that. That's kind of nice. And then as far as where to put the auras, for me, Spear of the Heavens is on my Stormcaller's aura. The Wayward Soul is on my Stormcaller's Pact. My Giant's Blood is on Mogdraken's Pact. And Storm Tempest, Reckless Tempest is on Savagery. So that's what we're looking like here. Everything else is just a passive, so no worries there. These don't matter, these abilities, these auras. As long as you have it on an aura that's up the whole time, you can have Spear of the Heavens on anything, that's as long as it's an aura. So if you happen to have something else that gives you an aura, you can put that on there. You don't need, specifically need it on what I have it on. Just put it on an aura that's up the whole time, and you'll be good to go. Next thing I want to give you guys a brief view of is how much damage we do. So what I'll do is I'll start just by right-clicking. This is just Savagery. So if you notice, our damage is, it's pretty fluid. You got, Reckless Tempest coming down. It's fast numbers. It's not super high numbers, but it's still respectable. You'll see 20,000s and sometimes 30, 40,000s depending. But we're not just spamming right-click. That's not just our thing. We have our Pneumatic Burst, which speeds up our attacks. Then we also have our Sacred Strike, which reduces their resistances. And you can constantly toggle between both of those, and it really speeds up the damage. You could even use Ring of Steel on cooldown if you really want to. It does okay damage, but it's mainly there to chill. And that's really it. That's all I really have for you guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them on the forum post. It will be down in the bottom of the in the comments section. So there is a forum post on the Grim Dawn forums in the build compendium that has all the details I give you guys today, but also goes alongside with the video. So if you're a video watcher or if you're a forum post reader, everything will be in both. So if you like what you see, please thumbs up and subscribe if you're not a subscriber. That'd be greatly appreciated. Feel free to stop by the Twitch channel, which is twitch.com/thepaleogamer, and come give me a follow, come hang out, come ask any questions. I stream pretty much every single day from about 8 to 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time till about 3 to 4 p.m. And I'd like to see you guys there. Oh, and a brief preview. The next build I've been working on is a beginner-friendly build that does insane damage. My character is really geared right now, and if you're a follower of the channel, you've probably already have seen it. It's my Fire Strike Sorcerer. I'm talking the damage that this character is doing. It's a two-handed rifle Fire Striker, and she's doing like 30 to 40,000 Fire Strike hits with a burn of 30 to 40,000, and it's just crazy good damage, super easy, great leveling up experience, no deaths until I was in Ultimate. And the deaths when I was in Ultimate were pretty dumb in the beginning. And then Loghorin on Ultimate was a bit rough, but I was trying to kill him at like level 68. So it wasn't the best of ideas. But that'll be the next video guide that I do. And after that, it will be a super tank build, which is what you guys requested. So I'll try to do that film tomorrow. Try to get that guide out for you guys. There is an actual forum post guide for the Fire Strike Sorceress. You'll have to come by the channel and get that link. I hope to see you guys there.